Welcome back to Say No to Lashon Hara, day 54. This series is being done for the continued health of Chana Bat Simafega. The Chafetz Chaim now introduces the next situation. Imagine you're sitting at a table, at a wedding, bar mitzvah, and all of a sudden people at your table that you're sitting at start speaking Lashon Hara together. What is a person supposed to do? They didn't get themselves in that situation. They didn't join the situation. They just find themselves in the middle of it. The Chafetz Chaim says that there's really three different elements that a person should go through. The first and best case scenario is where a person feels like they're capable of mentioning something to the people that are speaking Lashon Hara by saying something as, guys, let's really not talk about this, or, it's really wrong to do this, just like you wouldn't eat non-kosher, we shouldn't really talk about other people. And if that's going to kind of go down well, then that's the ideal situation. Because not only are you not standing by, you're stopping Lashon Hara from happening. If you know that that's impossible, they're never going to listen. So the Chafetz Chaim says it's a big mitzvah to get up from the table and walk away. So there's a mitzvah to actually stand up and leave. So even though the Lashon Hara is going to continue, if you don't have an option of stopping it, at least you do have an option of not being there for it. And finally, if it's impossible for you to leave, whatever the scenario is where it would be impossible for you to leave, but if it's impossible for you to leave, then it has to be absolutely clear to you in your mind where you stand on all this that's going on around you. So number one, a decision that has to happen, formulate in your mind and heart, a decision that no matter what gets said here in Lashon Hara, I'm not going to listen to it, I'm not going to believe it. So if I'm stuck here and they're talking all this stuff, I already decide from now, this is fake news, I'm not listening. But secondly, a person also needs to make sure that the way they seem to be perceiving the information and taking it in doesn't encourage more Lashon Hara or get anyone to think that you're agreeing with it either. So if a person could kind of use their face to paint a portrait of disapproval or rejection of what's being said, then if he's stuck in that situation, that's what he should be broadcasting. Now, that's all when you're already in this place, and then the Lashon Hara starts to develop at the table that you're already sitting at. However, if a person is walking by and there's a Lashon Hara conversation, or there's people who generally speak Lashon Hara, and you're walking past, stopping at that place, stopping and inserting yourself into the Lashon Hara situation, the Chafetz Chaim says is a big sin, and it's a big sin even if you don't take part in the conversation, even if you don't approve of it, because when you're already not in the situation, you're just walking by, you had the option of carrying on walking, stopping there, even if you're doing the lowest of the three options that we mentioned before, which is not taking part in the conversation, not approving of it, but you're inserting yourself in the situation, and that's not allowed. The Chafetz Chaim says that if someone does that, and they have intention to listen to Lashon Hara, then they're written in Shamayim as if they are a Baal Lashon Hara, a person who is a Lashon Hara speaker, not an occasional dabbler, but actually someone who's a Lashon Hara speaker. And that sin, the Chafetz Chaim says, is too great to carry. There was a story with the Chafetz Chaim once when he was traveling, and he saw a group of people that were having a conversation. Traders, businessmen that were traveling with him. Chafetz Chaim walked right up to them and said, listen, can I ask, what are we talking about? Are we talking about horses? If it's horses, count me in. But if it's people, count me out. The Chafetz Chaim had the courage to be able to make a statement like that, to shut down the conversation by stating clearly what was right and what was wrong. Because for the Chafetz Chaim, the knowledge of how important Lashon Hara is and the damage that's done and the price that we pay was so clear and vivid that it made absolute sense for him to walk straight up to the conversation, drop this bomb on the table, and blow the whole thing up.